Yo, JD here, Limitless, and we are back on F1 2019. And this is going to be quite an interesting one because there's been a patch that we have been waiting for a very, very long time now. And Xbox has finally got it, the last platform to actually get it. And this patch has got quite a few fixes, obviously career mode and other aspects of the game. But the main thing I'm interested in is how it's going to affect the cars. And this is going to affect the 2019 cars and online and stuff as well, because they're really trying to make it as close as possible to real life. Because one of the criticism of this game when it first came out was that it was too slow. So now we're just going to try the handling and just see how it feels. And we're at China here today. I think I did a 30.8, 31.0 before. Didn't really sweat it too hard, so I haven't got that much experience around this track, but I thought it would be quite a good test to see what the handling is actually like using default setup. And the first thing I noticed straight away is that it's definitely a lot more stable on traction. A bit easier, maybe I'd say, because traction was a little bit... The only thing I didn't really like about the last handling before this patch was that it was a little bit unpredictable. The traction, really, you had to kind of go on the throttle for me in an unnatural way, whereas here feels you're a lot more aggressive and it just feels nice. The back end is not unexpectedly snapping away from you or anything at all. It feels a lot more stable and kind of what it's like in real life in a way. So I definitely feel immediately that it's just a lot more natural for me and having more fun, feeling comfortable straight away, because this is the first lap I've done. I've not done any practice of this patch or anything before. This is me just jumping on raw straight away. I think they updated, I think they removed all the TT times and stuff, so I will be going through the setups all the setups again, and that's the main reason why I've been waiting for, because this patch was expected even before the launch of the game. Coming across the line now, let's see what time we can do as a first lap. 29.6 is a world record with the setup. We've done a 30.8 with default. The only thing I changed was just the brake bias, or just the front brake bias, which you can change on the MFD, and usually I put the diff down just a little bit just to get a bit extra rotation. But this lap now, I'm starting to push it a little bit more. Seems to be a little bit less understeer, not massively less understeer, but I say it's mainly the traction, and just when you go on the throttle in the high speed, the car just seems to grip up a lot more, whereas before it kind of, the front end of the car would kind of wash away from you. But coming through here, you can definitely go on the throttle more than you did, but it just seems when you go on the throttle, it just kind of just grips up just a lot more, kind of just really hooks up. Like around this corner, before it really understeer, now it definitely seems to be just a slightly bit more grippy, which over the course of a lap actually adds up to be quite a big change. And the lap times, we'll see, I think the world record before was like a 30.5, something like that, and we'll be able to see of what kind of time we can get down to, because after this lap I'm actually going to throw on the setup and just see how I do here. But so far it's feeling really, really nice, and I just want to know what everyone else thinks as well. They feel it's an improvement compared to the previous patch. For me right now, first impressions, it feels really, really nice to drive, and I'm pretty excited to actually try this online to see really what it's like there. But coming around this last corner, we're quite a bit up on this time. We managed to do a 30.4 with no setup, and yeah, pretty happy with that. So we're going to go back into the menu now and see where we are on the leaderboard. You can see 29.6 surprise, always sweating all the time, so GG to him. But after 2 laps to come 42nd with no setup, well, everyone else is actually using a setup, I'm actually pretty happy with that. So we'll actually go throw on his setup and just see how much quicker we can actually go. I think there's another guy just slightly ahead of me with no setup, but I feel I could probably get another 2 tenths maybe out of that. So I could probably get a 30.2, maybe even a 1 on the perfect lap. So default setup, I can confirm, is still pretty nice. But now we'll go throw on the setup, which is Josh's surprises setup, who I'm not really a fan of. When I've used other people's setups, there's certain people's setups that you maybe just use as a baseline when you first go on it. I'm not really a fan of his ones. I feel it's very, very understeery for me. So we are going to make a change after I do this lap here. And you can see immediately straight away with the 1.6 wings, much quicker in the straight line. And that's where I was really losing out, is mainly in the last sector. Coming through here now, trying to get the car in as much as possible, understeering I actually use first gear just to get a little bit extra rotation through here. But yeah, as I said, the main difference between this patch I've noticed so far is just seems to be a much smoother transition on the throttle and just a little bit more grip in the high speed, which adds up quite a bit over a single lap. Getting a decent exit here, about almost 1.5 tenths up. Going through here with the 1.6 wing, as you can see, we're losing time on the delta, not too much on the delta. Fourth gear, and yeah, it's almost gone back to zero, so almost going to red. And we are going to red, but we should be making up quite a bit of time in this last sector. You can see 0.4, 0.1, now going back into the green. Really enjoy braking this game. You have to trail brake quite a bit. I'll probably be doing a pedal cam on this very soon. Second gear just to get extra bite into the corner. And on the previous patch, going through here, if I was going on the throttle like that, the back end would be snapping all over the place. You could just quite unexpectedly just lose the car, but this just seems to be, for me, just a bit more of a natural experience, and so far it's definitely a positive thing. Braking pretty late here, just trying to get the car rotated, carrying a lot of apex speed. I feel we can carry just a bit more apex speed as well in the slow speed corners. When on the last patch, if you carried a little bit too much, it kind of really weirdly bogged the car down and you just wouldn't get a good exit, whereas now it seems to actually reward you a little bit more. So far, so good, and that's put us onto a 30.3 or something like that. So a slight improvement, but I know I can improve it quite a bit. So I'm actually going to tweak his setup a little bit. I always find his setups have a bit too much understeer for me personally. I'm going to put the diff down as well because it will make it quite nice on the traction, although it may not give you outright performance, and just a little bit down on the off throttle because that will just give you a little bit more rotation. And I'm going to put it to 3.3 ride height. That's really my kind of go-to at the moment. Go put to 54, just a little bit more change of direction ability. I'm going to put in the TT, always put it on the tire pressure as max as possible because that'll just give you the best straight line speed. So we've got a bit more aero, a bit more change of direction under the braking now. And let's see how much we're actually going through from this. And for me, I kind of like setups where I have a good front end, and you can see immediately straight away we have a much better front end. I already felt it in the wheel. We're going through that last corner. And let's see how much more time we can improve. The previous world record on the last patch was like a 30.5, something like that. And you can see immediately, straight away, we already gained it. Look how much time we're gaining straight away. I don't think I even needed to go in first gear there, but just a little bit of habit. Staying nice and tight off this corner. You can see almost 2 tenths up now. And yeah, it's definitely working for me. First gear going a little bit deep, first gear. You can see on the previous patch that we really bogged the car down, but this time it actually kind of rewards you to just carry as much apex speed as possible. Through here, almost going flat out, 2 and a bit temps up now. Should be making up some time in this sector as well. Got to try and make the most of it before this long straight. Second gear here. Let's see if we can get a good exit. Almost losing the car, so a little bit of a mistake there, but still 2.5 temps up. So we're on course for 30.1 at this point. Braking nicely if you're trying to hit as much as that curb as possible. Third gear, don't need second on this occasion. And again, could be much more aggressive with the throttle now, and it's much easier to correct the car as well, I felt, because I did Silverstone after this, which I'll be showcasing. I just feel it, not that it doesn't punish you as much, but it just feels, for me, it just feels a little bit more natural, and just, you can just push the car a lot more through the corners. You can just throw a lot more speed into the corners and throughout the corners, and the car will stick throughout it. Getting a good exit here, trying to get a good last corner, which we didn't do last time. This time getting a good last corner now, coming across the line now, and we have done a 30.0. And after 4 or 5 laps, which I did, I'm actually very, very happy about. I think with a good another 10, 15 laps more sweat, I think we'd definitely be in the 29s. 29.6 obviously is a very good lap, but I think a 29.7, 29.8, I think pretty quickly we'll be onto that. You can see we made a fairly big mistake in the middle sector as well. So top 10 after a few laps. Yeah, setup feeling really nice, and that's just my setup I just chucked on. I definitely can make some tweaks to that to get a bit more performance, which I'll be doing in my setup video. But so far, so good. It feels really, really, really nice. And we're going to be moving on to Silverstone now. We're going to be showcasing a lap that I did previously. So now we are going to look at a lap that I did previously on the last patch. And I did this at the start of the game, which was enough for a world record at the time. And obviously in real life, they were doing like 25.0 or something like that. But with this handling, the main thing I felt was just traction, as I said before, just felt a little bit kind of just artificial in a way. Like, especially going through this corner here, you can see how quickly you have to hold it on that throttle application. You literally have to hold it on 60% for a good couple of seconds and then go flat out. It kind of just feels a bit weird. But let's look at the speed we carry through these corners now, and let's see. So speed there's 85 miles an hour through that corner. So something to look out for, because the lap I'm going to do after this is with the updated handling here. And then going into the old turn one, as I always say. Let's see what kind of speed, because this is probably one of the most significant corners along with Macca's and Beckett's. Going through here now, doing a little bit of lift off the throttle. 177 miles per hour, which is, yes, miles per hour, because I am English, but I will probably change it to kilometers per hour soon. 191 miles per hour going through the first part of Macca's Beckett's, and then going through this corner here. I was trying to remember, couldn't quite catch up. I think it was about 119 miles an hour going through here. And it'll be a good little comparison to see what apex speed or what miles per hour we're actually going to be using in the next lap here, which is, I won't say how much quicker it is, but I felt it was a pretty decent effort. Not running wide at Stowe, and coming through here, braking feels very similar, but just you can just carry just that little bit further speed going through the high speed corners and just easier on track as well, and it really adds up to be a big difference. And we did a 27.4 on this occasion, which, as I said, was a world record at the time. Didn't really do too much swaying after this at all. Probably could have got to like 27.1 or something like that if we did a bit more. But now we're going to look at the updated handling here, and you can see the lap time already is a 26.0, so you can see a big chunk actually quicker. And we'll try and remember what we did in the miles per hour on those corners. So as always, pretty comfortable flat out going through here. This is with a setup though, 4th gear, 3rd gear, definitely carrying more apex speed, just a lot more apex speed through here. 1st gear, and you can see this time, you can see the throttle progression is just a lot more natural than we did previously. Previously we had to hold it on 60%. This time just a lot more natural on the throttle progression. Let's see how many miles per hour we carry the speed going through here now. 93 miles an hour, so it's about 10 miles an hour difference going through that corner alone. And you can see going through this next corner, it was 177 last lap going through the old town. Let's see what's going to be this time. Almost flat out 183 miles an hour, and it was 192 going through the right hand corner of this one here. About similar again, because you really got, it's a flat out corner anyway, so you're just really scrubbing off speed. But you can see through the two previous corners, or what compared to the lap before, about 7 to 10 mile an hour difference. And if you're doing that on each corner, I know this corner particularly, this one you can really throw it in just much more, keeping it on the track nicely. It's going to add up to significant more lap time. Go over here a lot more aggressive, just carrying more speed for the apex is really what this main thing's about. And we do it at 26.0, which is almost a 25, which I think actually put me 4th or 5th, or I think it's 5th on the leaderboard here. So I was very happy about that. Setup feels very nice, and yeah, the patch, you could just definitely carry a lot more speed through the corners. You can see again, you could just be a lot more natural and progressive on the throttle as well. I think that's a big thing, and I'm all for it. It really rewards a bit more of the natural driving style, whereas a little bit artificial before. But let me know what you think though. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, and I will catch you very soon. Peace.